Over the last few days, we have been inundated with debate over the housing fund. We have discussed its pros and cons. Is it a tax or a saving? Who gets a house? Who doesn't? Don't get me wrong, it's important. But let us not lose sight of many other provisions in the bill that deserve our attention. I will sample a few, and my list is by no means exhaustive. For a start, the bill proposes to charge 16% VAT on insurance compensation. So basically, this is the money that is paid to one after injury or loss or damages. Insurance compensation basically aims to restore one to their original state following loss or damage. It is not a profit-making exercise. So basically, you get hit by a bus and you will have to pay taxes on your compensation. Further, there is a proposal to charge 20% excise duty on mobile and internet data in a country that is touted as going digital and encouraging the use of online spaces. Don't forget, this is the same government that says they have digitized over 5,000 government services. You see, you apply for a passport online, your driver's license, your certificate of good conduct, amongst many others. This will no doubt widen the digital divide. Further, the cost of mobile phones themselves could increase due to increase in tax on imported phones. Now, one would argue that this will help local producers. The problem, though, is we really don't have that many local alternatives. How many companies actually make mobile phones locally? Kenyans still rely heavily on imported gadgets. This will make gadgets unaffordable for many, even at a time, by the way, when we're expecting farmers to get extension services via their phones. In addition, that bill also aims to charge 12% on mobile money transfers. And then, of course, there is a proposal to increase the VAT on fuel products from 8% to 16%. This will have a ripple effect on the cost of just about everything else in the country. Now, the Finance Bill 2023 wants to amend the Income Tax Act with respect to turnover tax. Now, this tax was controversial even when it was first introduced in the previous administration, as it seeks to charge taxes on turnover rather than profit. But back to present day, this amendment proposes to target a greater number of smaller businesses. You see, initially, it targeted businesses with a turnover of between 1 million and 50 million shillings. But now it has moved that bracket to target those making between just 500,000 shillings and 15 million shillings every year. Now, this just means that many more smaller businesses would be subject to this 3% tax. Now, remember, this is at a time when focus is largely on the SME sector that is touted as the one that will drive economic growth, particularly as we recover from the global COVID-19 pandemic. Now, if you're a farmer, listen up, because the price of fertilizer could go up if this bill is passed. This is because the proposal is to reclassify fertilizers from zero rating to exempt VAT supplies. What this basically means is that it is the manufacturers who will bear the cost, meaning they could decide to pass on that cost to you, the farmer, when you go to buy the fertilizer. Business owners are also a worried lot when it comes to how they will handle disputes with the tax collector KRA. You see, the bill is proposing that anyone who has a dispute with the Kenya Revenue Agency and challenges them before the tribunal will first have to pay 20% of the amount under dispute before they can even file the appeal. But that this amount would be refunded if the challenger wins the suit against KRA. Now, business owners are saying this is too high an amount to pay before the dispute is even heard or decided. In fact, one wonders why anyone has to pay any amount at all. Now, sometimes these disputes take a long time, as you know, to be decided, in a court process. And that means that one's money is held up for quite some time while the matter is being heard and determined. Furthermore, that proposal goes against a court ruling on the very same issue, in which Deputy Chief Justice Philomena Mwilu said there should be no such preconditions before a dispute is heard and determined. She said, and I quote, "It is unreasonable as it impedes the appellant's access to justice by imposing a condition precedent before a matter can be heard, contrary to Articles 48, 50, and 159 of the Constitution of Kenya, end quote. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're a farmer or a content creator who will now have to pay 15% of taxes on your earnings, if you're a consumer who uses public transport, drives a car, a salaried Kenyan who will have to pay more in the housing fund, consumer of goods and services, pay attention to the contents of the bill. As one popular show host in this country says, there is something for everyone. That's my take tonight.